You're editing your third video this week. Your life is happening around you. You haven't slept properly in days. And there's this voice. If I stop now, it's all over. Every creator hears it, most listen. But here's what nobody tells you about that voice. It's not protecting your channel. It's the thing that's actually killing it. Look, I get it. The pressure never stops. Upload schedule, consistency, growth targets, and underneath it all is this terror that if you take your foot off the gas for even a week, the algorithm forgets you exist. Your subscribers move on. Other creators take your spot. But here's the thing about that terror. It's built on something most creators fundamentally misunderstand about how YouTube actually works. The algorithm doesn't punish absence, it punishes mystery. And once you understand the difference, everything changes. Right now, you're probably running on fumes. The weeks blur together. You've got life obligations pulling at you, analytics staring you down. And every time you open YouTube, there's another creator posting about their consistency streak. And meanwhile, you can barely remember the last time you had a meal without thinking about your upload schedule. And the guilt. God, the guilt. Every day you don't post feels like you're letting your audience down, letting yourself down, proving you're not serious enough, not committed enough, not built for this. You watch other creators grinding through everything and think that's what it takes. That's what separates the successful ones from the ones who quit. So you push, you edit at midnight, you film when you should be sleeping, you optimize thumbnails when you should be present in your actual life because stopping feels like giving up, and giving up feels like admitting you were never good enough in the first place. But here's what's actually happening. You're operating from a place of fear, not strategy. And fear-based decisions in content creation almost always backfire because when you're this exhausted, your content quality drops, your creativity flatlines, your engagement with your audience becomes performative instead of genuine. And the algorithm sees all of that. It sees creators producing out of obligation instead of value, and it doesn't reward that ever. The real cost isn't the break you might take. It's the burnout you're building toward. It's the resentment that's growing toward your own channel. It's the moment 3 months from now when you don't just take a break, you walk away completely because you can't remember why you started this in the first place. So let's talk about what the algorithm actually does. Because most of what creators believe about consistency and breaks is mythology, not mechanics. The algorithm doesn't track your upload frequency, it tracks audience behavior patterns. Specifically, when your videos go live, does your audience show up? When they show up, do they watch? When they watch, do they engage? That's it. Those are the signals that matter. You know what the algorithm hates? Mystery, uncertainty, creators who vanish without context, leaving their audience confused about whether they're coming back. Because confused audiences don't click. They don't watch. They move on to creators who are present and communicating. But a strategic break, one where you tell your audience exactly what's happening and when you're returning, the algorithm doesn't punish that because your audience isn't confused. They're informed. And when you come back, they show up often more engaged than before because you're rested and creating better content. I've taken breaks multiple times, full transparency. Every single time, my performance after the break was stronger than it would have been if I'd pushed through exhausted. Not because the algorithm rewarded the break, but because I came back sharp instead of burned out. My content quality went up, my engagement went up, my retention went up, and the algorithm responded to those signals, not to my upload schedule. Here's the shift. Breaks don't kill channels. Bad timing and no communication kill channels. Creators who ghost their audience without explanation, those channels suffer. But creators who say, I'm taking 2 weeks. Here's why. Here's when I'm back. Here's what's coming when I return. Those creators build trust. And trust is the only thing that actually insulates you from algorithmic volatility. Your audience followed you for a reason. 1 month won't erase that. But months of progressively worse content because you're too exhausted to think straight, that absolutely will. All right. So if you're going to take a break, and I mean a real break, not a I'll just check comments break, here's how you do it without tanking your channel. I call it the strategic break protocol. 4 steps. All of them matter. Step 1, announce your intention 1 week ahead. This is non-negotiable. You need a community post or a short video that says exactly what's happening, not vague, not mysterious. I'm taking 2 weeks off starting date. Here's why. I'm exhausted and I want to come back strong instead of limping through next month half dead. I'll still drop shorts, I'll see comments, but no new long form until return date. Why this matters. You're eliminating mystery. Your audience knows what to expect. They're not wondering if you quit. They're not confused about where you went. And when your return date hits and you post again, they're primed to show up because you told them you would. Step 2, set a specific return date. Not taking a break, back soon, not see you later. A date, a specific day. Because vague timelines create the exact uncertainty the algorithm hates. Your audience doesn't know when to look for you. You don't have a deadline holding you accountable. And without that structure, breaks turn into drifting, which turns into months of inactivity. The return date does something else. 2, it keeps you honest. You're not quitting. You're not spiraling into maybe I'll just stop forever anxiety. You're taking a defined break with a clear endpoint. That psychological boundary matters more than you think. Step 3, leave breadcrumbs during the break. This is where most creators mess up. They think break means total radio silence. Wrong. Total silence is how you lose momentum. What you need is low-effort presence. Shorts work perfectly for this. Film 5 shorts before you leave. Schedule them throughout your break. 1 every 3 days. Quick, valuable, reminding your audience you exist without requiring you to actually work, or do a scheduled premiere. Record 1 video before your break. Set it to premiere midway through. Show up in the premiere chat for 20 minutes, then disappear again. You're giving your channel activity without sacrificing your rest. The key is these breadcrumbs don't require real-time energy. You're not creating during the break. You're maintaining presence with pre-built content. That distinction is everything. Step 4, return strong. Your first video back is the most important one. This is not the time to ease back in with a mediocre upload. You're rested, you're sharp. You've had time to think about what your audience actually wants instead of just churning out content on autopilot. Your first video back should reflect that. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Address the break directly in that video. First 30 seconds. I took 2 weeks off. Here's what I learned. Here's what I'm doing differently. Here's why this video is going to be worth the wait. You're acknowledging the absence, demonstrating you're back with intention, and immediately delivering value. That's how you rebuild momentum. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds great, but I can't afford the income drop. That's real. If your channel is your primary income and you're living month to month on ad revenue and sponsorships, a 2-week break hits different. So let me be clear. I'm not saying everyone can afford this. What I am saying is if you can find a way to make it work financially, even once, you'll probably realize the long-term career extension is worth the short-term hit. But if you genuinely can't take a full break, then at least apply the protocol thinking to a modified schedule. Cut your uploads in half. Batch content ahead of time so you're not actively working during recovery time. Drop from 3 videos a week to 1. Something that gives you breathing room without completely stopping. The framework still applies. Announce the change, set expectations, maintain some presence, come back intentionally. Let me show you what this actually looks like with real numbers. One time I posted a community poll asking if my audience would be okay with me taking 2 weeks off. 87% said yes, so I did it. I posted a short saying I'd be back on a specific date. Then I scheduled 4 shorts to go live during the break. That was it. No long form, no active engagement, just automated presence. When I came back, I posted a video about creator burnout and strategic breaks. That video got 32% higher retention than my previous month's average. Comments were the most engaged I'd seen in months. People weren't mad I left. They were relieved I came back rested. And my channel didn't lose subscribers. It gained them because the first video back was good. Really good. The kind of good you can't make when you're running on 3 hours of sleep and spite. I did it again later that year. Same protocol. This time I didn't even schedule shorts. I just vanished for 3 weeks with a clear return date. Came back on the day I said I would. That first video, 41% higher watch time than my previous videos. And my overall channel performance the following month was the best I'd had in 6 months. I'm not special. This isn't some unique situation where it only works for my channel. I've watched this play out with dozens of creators at every level. The ones who take strategic breaks and communicate clearly, they recover fast and often come back stronger. The ones who push through exhausted or ghost their audience without context, they either burn out completely or spend months clawing back momentum. The pattern is consistent. Strategic absence beats exhausted presence every time. The algorithm doesn't care if you take a break. It cares if your content is good when you do show up. So let's go back to that voice. If I stop now, it's all over. That voice isn't protecting your channel. It's protecting your fear of irrelevance, fear of being forgotten, fear that you're not actually good enough to take a break and come back. But here's the truth. If your channel can't survive you taking 2 weeks off, your channel was never going to survive long term anyway, because this job requires endurance, not just sprints, and endurance requires rest. The algorithm doesn't punish breaks. It punishes creators who vanish without context. It punishes bad content made by exhausted people who can't think straight anymore. It punishes mystery and uncertainty, but it doesn't punish transparency, intention, and strategic absence. So here's what you need to decide. Are you taking a break or are you pushing through? Either choice is valid if it's intentional, if you have a plan, if you're honest with your audience about what's happening. What doesn't work is sitting in the middle, half working, half resting, doing neither well, burning out slowly while pretending you're fine. If you take the break, use the protocol. Announce it, set a date, leave breadcrumbs, come back strong. If you push through, make it a conscious decision with boundaries. Either way, choose, because drifting is what kills channels. Not breaks, not rest. Drifting. Your channel will survive the break. The question is whether you'll survive without one. You know how to take a break now, but here's the thing. Even with a strategy, you'll still check your subscriber count obsessively, waiting for proof the break didn't kill you. Why that number controls you more than you think. If the next video's already on your screen, it's there for a reason.